begins with our mission and values, a culture of innovation and collaboration, achieving a global perspective beyond the classroom, turning education and theory into practice, developing lifelong interests and connections, and striving to make a difference in our communities. Marist College.
Good afternoon, EGF fans. Here for you guys today. I am Lord Ethan, joined in the booth by Twin Salty. We're going to be bringing you some Overwatch action today in the collegiate scene. Couple of matchups that we'll be watching this evening. The first of which I think will be pretty exciting, albeit salty. I think that on pen and paper, it looks pretty one-sided.
Yeah, on paper, a little one-sided towards Marist, but I think Siena College, maybe they can pull something out of the hat, as Marist has been on an absolute roll. I believe they're, 12-2, maybe, something to that degree. Yep. They are, I think, first place entering this week in the overall standings after, actually, I think 12-1, I should say. But, they're number one now, with Colorado losing a few weeks ago. Marist has the map differential in their favor. So they obviously want to continue that, and obviously carry over the success they had last weekend at the MAC Esports Championships, where they took home first for Overwatch. So, everything on paper is in favor of Marist College, but you just never know sometimes what can happen.
And, well, you can know sometimes, already looking at our map pool, there are some conventions that that you might adhere to. Starting off on Nepal is that's going to be our first control point map, and that depending on the map, it's Brawl Central. You can play a rush composition, dive, or disruption. Or just a good old-fashioned poke comp. We'll have to see what the teams opt for here. But going back to what you were saying, Salty, about just Marist, looking really strong. This is the third time, I think, in a month or so that these teams will be playing each other. So at this point, both teams are pretty familiar with each other's styles. Is there a chance that we see some resistance put up today from Siena College against the dominant forces of Marist?
I could see some resistance, as they just played each other last week at the MAC Conference Championships, where Marist won 3-0 in a semifinal game, and then also a few weeks ago they played each other in the regular season for EGFC, where it was another 3-0 sweep. So maybe Siena gonna pull something differently as both teams getting ready in position, but I think it's going to be the adjustments and niche plays made by Siena, and successful ones at that, they want to try and win today.
This is Nepal Sanctum, is one of those maps that you'd see that poke composition emerge here for Marist College, already on that double shield comp, and Cloud picking up 2 eliminations right off the bat here. Is a favorable position for Marist to operate in. It's going to give them first point capture of the objective. Meanwhile, you've got Face Mask just kind of hanging out in the back lines, waiting for opportunities to pounce. There isn't going to be one. Traders and Andrew have already cleaned it up.
Yeah, already cleaned up, and this is what we kind of expected to at least begin this series today. Cloud just taking over already, almost at their ultimate. Face Mask, even though they didn't get a lot of impact that last fight, the pressure's always there. You can see Snow always looking in the back line, but you also got to look for the other Cassidy who's flashing you from behind.
Oh, it found the stun, and then the additional CC, the Whiplash from Thunderkit, helping to dispatch them. That's a team fight over and done with. Without that CC, without that support, you don't really want to push in there. And Marist College, they say, without that support, without that DPS in the mix, we want to push up, and you're going to see them push all the way outside the choke.
Yeah, all the way through choke. Sickle's actually going to be used. Able to get one, trying to get a second. Able, gonna get credited with the elimination on the Ace as they decide just to manually reset. Yep. And it's an ugly start for Siena. They do have a sub in today, Jinja in on the main tank spot, so obviously, maybe not so used to playing competitively. I don't think we've seen them at all this season, so maybe just getting them up to speed is going to be what Siena have to do for at least this first round, looking into round 2, as they're going to need something magical out of this fight to win Sanctum.
In a situation like that, Twin, you know, it's the question of how do we enable this kind of new filler here for our team. But first, you got to start with the back lines. Booker already going down, and look, the pulse bomb from Face Mist. It's going to dispatch both of the DPS in one fell swoop here for Siena College. You're looking at another reset for them, and they're still working on a couple of these ultimates.
Yeah, but nobody's going to be able to touch, I don't think. Let's see, Booker actually may be able to touch here. They're going to try and make their way to point. They're getting hunted down, though, by Face Mist and Cloud. 100-0 is going to be the final score for Sanctum, and Marist College already on a good start.
Yeah, and you know, they're not pulling out any stops either. This is actually in the team notes here for Marist College. Let me find it real quick. If quote unquote, if we touch the spawn door, we're not BMing. We're showing you respect by giving our all, and you know, understandably, against any tough opponent, right? You're going to see a team really commit everything that they've got. So for Marist College, it might not look it, but they're just playing as clean as possible. I think that's self-evident.
Oh yeah, that's very evident that they're just playing clean Overwatch right now.
Yep.
And now going to be going on to this little bit more of a chaos comp. You're going to have traders in the back line just trying to run amok, cause some chaos, that allows Face Mist and Cloud just to clean everything up. Already looking to knock some members forward, and here it goes.
Oh, traders, that isn't clean Overwatch, and I gotta say this disruption composition is dirty as well. Going up against the brawl composition that Siena College is opting for, you already see Ace is under a lot of pressure, ends up going down to the power driver, and now Face Mask is free to rain damage down from above, picking up 2 eliminations and helping to close out this fight.
Yeah, able to close it out. There's another one. They had to make it a 4th. Now Andrew's gonna take that final blow away, but Marist, they look so clean right now. And going into this, we're like, Siena, we want to see something new, right? And with Jinja in, who I believe is on the Smash Bros team for them, not normally an Overwatch player, you can't really experiment too much with compositions. I don't blame them. Just throw them on the Reinhardt and see what happens. And I think at this point, you just got to feel it out.
It's kind of what we talked about earlier, you know, kind of adhering to convention there. Ace is going to be seeing the spawn doors here soon. That's a quick fight wrapped up here for Marist College, and a quick reset here for Siena. I do find it interesting, Salty. You know, look at these ultimate generations here for Marist College. No one is really outpacing anyone else on this team. Cloud is close to that pulse bomb, but everyone else is very close behind on their ultimates.
Yeah, you know, they already have 3. Face Mist will get it if they even breathe on an opponent, so they'll have 4 ultimates going into this next fight. And they haven't even had to use an ultimate yet. They already win 2, and now if you rotate them well, it's just the snowball effect's already going to go into effect, and they don't even need ultimates, it seems like. Already 1 down.
Yeah, one of the 2 hit scans here for Siena College already dispatched. Face Mist is going to be a little bit more free to just hang out above this choke point. Minefield committed inside the room as well from traders. It will pick up the final blow, but it's the bomb, the self-destruct from Andrew that really steals the show, that fight.
Yeah, self-destruct thrown in because obviously they want to get value out of that window from life, and instead Diva Bomb thrown into the mix. They really don't know what to do with that point in time because you got to try and get out. Also getting body blocked by traders, able to get 2 in the long run. Now, final fight. They're going to have to get something. Almost the remake coming through. This is... I'm running out of words, Theetham. This is pure domination from Marist College.
There's not a lot to say here, Twin. Cloud picking up 2 barrage kills and then following up with a nice conk blast. You got the nano boost applied onto traders there, but it's not as if it was a necessary ultimate, necessary resource to expend there for Siena College. I'm sorry, for Marist College, who comes out on top of this first map in a really good way. Yeah,
they're showing that obviously, you know, Siena has the sub in, but they're carrying that momentum over from winning the MAC East West Championships just a week ago. And Barrage goes in, able to get 2, boops off the Dio for a 3rd. Great play from the far, and it's not looking good. And I know we usually don't say that after just a map. It does not look good for Siena, purely because, yes, you have somebody new coming in who, it's a level 1 account. Like, I don't know if they've ever played Overwatch before today. And at least Marist was chill about it, like, yeah, just let them get on. They still want to play, and you can show it. You can see it from their performance.
Yeah, definitely a tough spot that Siena College will be in. But, Twin, I have to contend with you a little bit. Siena College, this squad is, they're gamers. They rise above adversity. And, like a lot of the teams or on a lot of the team sheets, is listed, that sentiment as, kind of a fun fact about these teams is, that maybe they operate well under pressure. Maybe they're really good at mid-game adaptations. For Siena College, they each have little moments that we might be able to observe this series that I've gotten the pleasure of observing previously. It's really just that contest of who plays Overwatch cleaner, and definitely, you're absolutely right. In this case, it is Marist College.
Yeah, they've just been. They haven't really had that many issues. I think traders trying to push everybody in. The hook didn't really work the way they wanted it to for a little bit, so maybe that engage wasn't as well as they would have liked over on Shrine. But everything else, just the dives were there, holding the right chokes, and just coordination time after time is exactly where they wanted it to be. And yes, we've seen signs from Siena College, but for them to maybe try and steal away map 2, we're going to need consistency from the DPS line to contest with Cloud and Face Mist, because if you cannot deal with those two, your front line is just going to get ran over because a third of their teammates are going to be gone already. So hopefully, for Siena's case, they can maybe contest them. Even if it's just contesting and putting pressure on them, don't let them run amok like they did in Nepal.
We'll have to see how things change. Heading into our next map, the Escort game mode, it's a little better for more team play oriented strategies. We can definitely expect to see that strength demonstrated by Marist College. Heading into this next area. I lied, actually. It's not Escort. It is going to be hybrid. Of course, we'll be going to the streets of London, Kings Row. And, the signs of life that we've gotten to see from Siena College, you make a good point here, Twin. Signs might not be enough. There's no Mel Gibson or Joaquin Phoenix to help you out of this one. So we'll have to see things really begin to manifest for Siena here.
And I would say one positive for Siena is they tried to run the rush, right, on Nepal, where it can be hit or miss unless you're on Village. This is very much a rush map. It's been slowly shifting away into more diverse comps over the last year with the changes that have been put into the game, but it's still, at its bones, a rush map. So if it is going to be a map they can bring it back on, I think it is going to be this. They should, if they can get an early cap here and start on a right foot, there is a chance they can start bringing this back to their favor.
We'll have to see. Definitely looking at the Mercy Lucio composition, you know that the front lines might struggle a little bit for resources to stay sustained in these fights. But I do like this double flyer from Siena College. You've got Snow and CJ on the Echo and the Echo and the Pharah, and Life on the Mercy. Watch out though. You got to use some verticality to outplay this Mei wall. Erected by Kane, they're able to kind of juke out the choke. Ace sees a play to be made, and unfortunately, maybe didn't pay off as quite like they wanted. Just clean up here for Marist now.
Yeah, able to clean up a few. Snow gonna get sent back to the spawn, and the Diva's not gonna be able to get out. Jinja's gonna get stalled out. Welcome to Overwatch, Jinja, as they're gonna get staggered out. And I like this Air Force One coming in from CJ Paul and Snow the Corrado. It's like it can get value, especially if you can coordinate who you were trying to focus down. But you also need to stay out of the sidelines of this man, Cloud, because they are just hitting shot after shot.
Another wall, another pin, but it's Olm picking up the final blow onto Ace there. Booker ends up going down as well. It's not just the tank struggling for resources, it's also that support line, because Ginja was not in the front lines there. The Diva, the defense matrix, wasn't present. You don't have an immortality field to help mitigate follow-up damage after these walls. It's a tough spot for Siena right now.
They're still trying to figure out how to deal with this Mei. It has been their biggest issue because you look at like, oh, Kane only has 64% ultimate charge. Have they really been doing that much? Yes, they've been holding that choke, and they've had a true fear when they're trying to push in. And now they're gonna try a different way. Gonna go up through theater and try and push in. Trader's just gonna meet him up there for some extra pressure, and now Kane waiting for the drop.
But look, already the tank's dropping here for Siena College at less than full HP. That's a tough matchup to win there. And although the rest of Siena College is quickly finding themselves down this hallway, it's not really a hallway as much as a shooting gallery here for Marist College.
Yeah, they're just lining up the shots. Marist able to take everybody down. And again, I like to see at least Siena, they're trying to change it up, right? They're trying to move different ways. They have Snow now over on the Genji to maybe try and deal with Cloud a bit more. But it was a fully red rotation from Marist. They were able to completely see what they were doing, able to set Kane up early on, and it's just another perfect Mei wall goes down. They haven't used a single ultimate, I don't think.
No, not yet. And they're coming up on 6 here for Marist. CJ Paul will have the barrage, but it's not going to be enough to prevent follow-up damage onto Ace. Once again, first pick of the fight here, and on King's Row, when you're playing a more rush brawl style composition, if you want to call Siena's look really that, then it's a death sentence for the push. You can't push without your Ryan.
No, you can't push without the Ryan. And
Booker
Ace
was
being
trying.
on the Ryan has worked a little bit better, but not by much, as they're getting staggered out right now so bad. A minute left on the clock. It'll be probably 50 seconds when they can get everybody together. As they're just running all through. Oh, Shatter's even going to get canceled by the flash of Cloud. It's an interesting game so far from Siena. And again, they're at least trying different things. They're rotating heroes. They're at least trying to use ultimates. But it is a near perfect game from Marist. Haven't had to use a single ultimate. They haven't even gotten close to point. That is how dominant this hold has been from Marist. Now they're looking one fight away from a full hold.
Normally you would see fights break out kind of around that hotel area. CJ Paul dispatch, no barrage here. The beat's going to drop here for Siena College, and the shatter is going to follow from Marist College. There's not really distance across there. Only a couple of stuns off the shatter. And there's CJ Paul brought back in by the revive and helping to bring back this fight for Siena College. Despite the Valkyrie, life ends up going down. The barrage eliminations not amounting to much here. Now you've got Ace on the Wrecking Ball looking to touch, but a Blizzard and the Choke is going to cut off their lifeline to the rest of Siena College's team. Already Ace going down on the objective, but I think that they did touch in time to trigger that overtime wake. Now CJ Paul has to touch, but they're not going to be able to. Look at the snipes, not only from Ulm, but Kane as well. That's so much damage that you've got to fight through to push through that choke. And Marist College, it's a lot of damage that you have to dish out to hold the positions that they were maintaining.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. As you said, so much damage coming through, and it was such brilliant utility usage from Kane. You can even see, like, in the second half of it, Ace was trying to bait out the wall, and as soon as he tried to full commit, that's when Kane would use the wall. And the dive would be perfect. They would be dead in a second, and then Siena would kind of get caught out when they're trying to back up to spawn, or maybe they would try and push in without their Rhine. No matter what they did, it was just not a good ending for Siena, as the Saints are going to have a full hold just to get a draw on King's Row. And it is, I won't say a normal desperation comp, but pretty similar. You got the double shield, Bastion's in play with Torb, the double turret. And, you know, maybe this is something Marist will have trouble with for the first push or two, and then we'll see if Marist can adapt to it later on.
We'll have to see. I think that I'd like to see Snow the Proto set up on the high ground here, but it's going to be kind of possibly a cheeky corner position, opting for the safety of the hotel. Bastion, the receptionist here on King's Row. We'll have to see how this plays out.
Try and book in their room, you know, their room
yeah.
to maybe losing King's Row, maybe winning and drawing King's Row. I'll have to wait and see what the receipt says afterwards.
That is the best that Siena can hope for now. Not able to take even a tick of progress off that objective. Trades, and you do get that freeze. Almost get that freeze on the Bastion, but that's okay. You drew the ire of Snow the Proto and open up the opportunity for Cloud to strike. That's a team kill and also a really quick finish on King's Row. That's going to be map 2 going to Marist College.
As you said earlier on when they were setting up, I would have loved to see the Bastion up on the high ground because you can kind of see. But I don't mind them sitting back there. It was just, you could tell they were a little miscombobulated of where the Orisa was supposed to, and where the tank should have been. As you see right there, Orisa out in the open. Immort has to get used very early, and it doesn't save the Torb or the Orisa. And then from there, it's just converging in. Cloud, shot after shot after shot. The receipt says you need to get out, Siena, because your time already at this hotel is gone. Marist 2-0. Clean, professional. It's what you expect from the MAC Conference champions, that is for sure.
You know, it's a name that we haven't really mentioned to. I mean, we've said Cloud's name quite a few times, but we haven't really gotten to capitalize on the work that they're putting in on the DPS role. And it's crazy the consistency of the damage output there on the Cole Cassidy. If you wanted consistent damage like that, conventionally you might opt for a Soldier 76, but Cloud with a serious potential for lethality, and as well being put in the right positions to do so by the rest of the team, ends up being pretty critical here for the success of Marist College. Right now, you know, the era of Overwatch, it's never really changed. It's always been the tanks and the supports really making the game what it is, and so it's nice to see Cloud really getting moments to shine here.
Yeah, you know, we joke around sometimes that DPS could be the least impactful, right? Which is weird to say because it's damage. You think, oh, the
You're
Riddle
right,
make
though.
it hit after shot, but it's this tank and supports that normally set the tempo. And Marist, it's just everybody's been doing their job, and that's why it looks so perfect as the DPS are put in a position where they can really shine, but it's also the tanks and supports capitalizing and creating those opportunities that Marist has just done a great job of so far. We're gonna go to a very quick break. Let Siena maybe try and figure out a game plan for Hanamura and see if they can start the reverse sweep right after this.
Welcome back, everyone. It was a very short break, and you know, that's as much time as Marist College really needs to work in the next game plan, heading into the much beloved game mode of 2CP. The assault game mode here will be taking to the beautiful streets of and temples of Hanamura. And you can see the arcade's already been totally trashed here by Marist College, ready to go on the attack. They swapped sides here. It's going to be Siena playing the defensive strategy first.
They're gonna try and play the defense. Gonna have the Bastion come out again. Snow the Prado on the Bastion yet again. CJ Paul gonna try them out on the Mei, which I do like that. You know, they saw how well it worked from the Marist side. Maybe they can get to work as this choke. It can be a little notorious on those Mei walls. Snow, what are you doing, bud? This could get interesting as the TP is trying to go down from Kane. Yeah, that is going to be a very quick death. And here comes the TP.
Man, I wish my teammates looked at me the way that all of Marist turned around to look at Snow the Proto. That's already a man advantage here for Marist College. They surge onto the objective with the help of the teleport. They actually might have just rushed through courtyard there. It wouldn't have ultimately mattered. Marist College on this rush composition is able to move to the objective however they like, and they take it as they would like.
Yeah, and they're now going to be able to teleport left side. I think Snow is going to look for it. But TP already down. Kane able to make it through. Everybody else going to slowly make their way through. The Lucio and Bap not able to make it. Lucio can just glide right over through. And now they can start pushing over here. 6 minutes on timing. They're going for a record, Lord.
And there's that rush coming through, and you've got Ace with that hero place, but the Deadeye coming through onto CJ Paul as they look for more blood to shed here on the second objective. You got a photon barrier coming up over the point. Nice defensive resource to play around here for the attacking team, but you might not need all of these.
Is that a record, Thiefum? Is that could be a record?
Coming out from Marist College. They're going to be taking. Quite possibly.
What? 548. That is I don't know if Tyler's watching. If we have a fact checker in chat, maybe, or in the Discord. That was incredibly fast on how you should run Hanamura, especially against a Bastion. And now Siena, You wonder what the play is now.
Well, you know, honestly, Salty, my feed has died,
Oh,
so I
oh,
can't
okay,
actually.
okay, I'll carry
Yeah,
on.
I can't see anything
Um,
that's going on. You'll have to fill me in. What you know, for as
well, they did
one-sided as the
cap.
series looks, I'm really interested to see how this resolves. I want to see Siena put up some resistance. Oh, I'm back in it. I'm here for the long haul, Twin.
All right.
I want to see this matchup play out.
I want to see it play out as well as Marist. They're going to go over to that Sig Hog, which we've seen it creep up on the competitive ladder, I would say, over these last few months. Maybe not as much in the organized scene, but, you know, without Overwatch League or contenders, it's kind of hard to say what the organized meta is going to be. But I think Siena has the double flex support now, not as much healing. They really need to get value out of those pickoffs because their game is not going to be to sustain. It's going to be for those quick picks. And Marist is going to try and keep them at bay so they cannot get those quick picks. And Cloud, they have the Mercy Pocket on the Ashe. We'll have to see if they can get early pick.
I gotta say, though, you know, you talk about the kind of what the metagame for organized play might be, and honestly, looking at Marist College's composition, I actually think, looking at traders on the Roadhog, I think that they're just trying to have a little bit of fun here at this point and see if they can get a full hold with that Roadhog. Unarguably an incredibly powerful tank, but, you know, also in some cases a liability. I don't think that'll be the case with traders here. Already, Siena College is having a hard time really navigating an angle here to either walk through the choke or take high ground. There was the engagement from CJ Paul on the Doomfist. They get instantly shut down. There's Trader's Roadhog coming through for you. Not a bad tank to play with, despite what solo queue ranked players might tell you. Ace goes down as well, and once again, you don't want to push without that Ryan.
Yeah, right now, the meta is in such a weird place to where a lot of things are playable, and at, you know, the 43, 4400 ranks, it's been, Sig Hog's been played a decent amount on maps like Hanamura, so I'm not surprised, honestly. Trader's pulling it out. Yes, it could be a little bit of fun being had at this point from Marist, feeling that they've probably won this series at this point, but you never know. You still got to play this series out, and I think it's also good practice because teams are going to run this later on this year, I have a feeling. So you get practice on it now. It's something that you can get at least a little bit more comfortable with if you use it down the line.
You know, it's really too late in the season to really be developing new strategies for the team, but that doesn't mean that there's not, you know, there's not always room for a little bit of experimentation. Ooh, look at that experimental barrier, not present there for Andrew. They're going to fall victim to the hook and the accretion. Following up from Andrew, I really like the synergy on display here for the tanks of Marist College.
Yeah, the tank's always in synergy. Who's peeking, when Andrew has shield, when hook's going to be used. And even there, you know, calling out, all right, the other Sigma is using Grasp, but you send the rock in from Andrew, cancels it out, gets the final blow, and it's just consistently good communication. Yep, there it is. Shield goes out, blocks the rock, blocks the nade, and now they can get out with no damage done to them. And this is going to be sticky now with Bob coming into play soon as well. Kane looking for that Riptire.
I don't think we've seen Thunderkit really untether from Cloud as much as you would like to see if you were if you're a Siena fan. There's a flux that's going to catch out Ninja there, and they're going to be sent back. This is a troubling position to be in, Salty, because I'll tell you, every time Ace gets hooked or Ginja gets caught out, you end up in a position where you have to back up out of the choke. You don't have resources to really push through with. Experimental Barrier is already suffering here for Ace, and they're not quite as close to that gravitic flux as they would like to be.
Yeah, at this point, Siena, you just try and build up as many ultimates as you can, and then you try and just press Q all at once, because that is going to be your best chance of at least getting to point B. Granted, Marist has not used an ultimate. Actually, no, they used Gravitic Flux earlier on, so they've used one ultimate this defense. They're waiting for Siena to use something, and here it goes. Both nanos used.
Oh, the Nano Zen. Let's get the Nano Trans. Yeah! Beaming gold and blue as the Riptire area finds its deployment here. It's going to secure two, but at least Booker was able to survive with the immortality. Oh, no, not such the case. As the Transcendence dissipates, so do the hopes of pushing through this choke for Siena College.
Yeah, the hopes and
no
dreams.
Shot that
Oh, what a throw from Kane.
That was really good.
Jinja's had a rough day in Overwatch. They may be happy to go to Smash Bros next week, as this has been it's been a rough day for Jinja on the off tank role, as they're just pushing forward now. Cloud, they're gonna get the dynamite kill on the CJ as they can just helplessly hold behind. Booker's not able to touch. a clinic from the MAC champions. They will stay in first place in the overall EGFC after a 3-0 sweep.
And this is the third consecutive 3-0 sweep that they've had. Again, I shouldn't say consecutive, but the third 3-0 sweep that they've had against Siena College. Like I said earlier, in about a month or so. You know, for Siena College, this isn't a particularly devastating loss, right? You're going up against the #1 seeded team in EGFC, and as well, you know, you're playing against some seriously competent players. For me, I think that there's a lot of value to be found in this series for Siena, having played against such adversity so many times in recent months. I think it makes perfect sense that that this is an opportunity for them to really evaluate some of the fundamentals of the mainstay roster, right? You know, how even despite being down someone, having a ringer, how do we enable CJ Paul? How do we keep Booker alive? You know, do we see the nanotrans in the future? I'm a big fan, and I'm also a fan of both these squads today, but Marist College really brought their A game. No surprise there.
Yeah, and for Siena, again, the bright spot is you're going to learn a lot more when you get your butt kicked like this than you are going to from Marist, I guess. Marist probably not going to take much away from this. It's a 3-0 win, and they're just going to keep the momentum going that they've had the entire season. Siena can look back and figure out, okay, this is what we did wrong. This is what we can do better next time around. But story's been pretty much the same for Marist all year. All they do is win. First place in EGFC now still after this week. They're looking to have a very strong finish to the entire season. And I can't wait to see what we are going to hear from one of their players in an interview right after this break.